Effective management of tenant expectations is essential to fostering a respectful and harmonious landlord-tenant relationship. When expectations are clearly set and professionalism is maintained, tenants are more likely to feel satisfied, respected, and less inclined to raise disputes. Misunderstandings are reduced, and the overall experience becomes more positive for both parties. A key part of this relationship is managing expectations around various aspects of tenancy, including maintenance, communication, rent increases, and how to handle contact during both regular hours and emergencies. By addressing these areas in a clear and consistent manner, landlords can avoid common pitfalls that lead to frustration or dissatisfaction. Establishing a clear and reliable maintenance program is one of the most important ways to manage tenant expectations. From the moment a tenant moves in, they should know exactly how to report maintenance issues and what kind of response times they can expect. An effective system may include an avenue or point of contact where tenants can easily submit requests, such as an online portal, dedicated phone line, or email address. Guidelines that detail expected response times for different levels of urgency should be clearly communicated upfront. For example, emergency repairs like plumbing issues, heating failures, or broken windows should be addressed within a short, specific time frame, usually within 24 hours or less, depending on the nature of the emergency. Non-urgent repairs, such as cosmetic fixes or minor inconveniences, may have a longer, clearly communicated timeline like 1 to 2 weeks. Proactive maintenance schedules are equally important. Regular inspections and timely upkeep not only ensure tenant satisfaction but also help landlords avoid costly major repairs in the future. For instance, a twice-yearly inspection of plumbing, HVAC systems, and electrical fixtures can catch issues before they escalate. Proactive measures like these demonstrate professionalism and help build tenant trust. Clear and timely communication is critical to maintaining a professional relationship and managing expectations effectively. Landlords should always be upfront about their availability, ensuring tenants know how and when to reach them for both routine inquiries and emergency situations. If a tenant is unable to reach their landlord repeatedly or the response time for the landlord is inconsistent, this may be a cause for tenant complaints. It's helpful to set clear boundaries around contact hours for non-emergencies while providing an emergency number for after-hours concerns. For example, routine matters, such as questions about rent payments or minor maintenance requests, can be addressed during regular business hours via phone or email. An emergency contact line should be available for urgent after-hours issues, such as burst pipes or a tree falling on the property. Responding to inquiries promptly is a hallmark of professionalism. Tenants should receive acknowledgement of non-emergency requests within 24 hours and resolution within a reasonable time frame. This not only shows respect for their time but also reassures them that their concerns are being taken seriously. It's also helpful to provide tenants with a list of common issues and steps they can take while awaiting assistance. For instance, instructions on shutting off a water valve or resetting a tripped circuit breaker can empower tenants to handle minor emergencies temporarily. Rent increases are a sensitive topic and should be handled with professionalism and respect. To avoid surprises, landlords can set expectations early by clearly outlining the possibility of annual rent increases in the lease agreement. If a tenant knows what to expect, they will be less likely to be surprised or take offense. Providing tenants with more than the minimum required notice for a rent increase demonstrates respect and helps maintain a positive relationship. For example, instead of giving the required 60-day notice for a rent increase, the landlords might opt for 90 days or more. This gives tenants ample time to plan their finances or discuss alternative arrangements. Transparency in explaining why a rent increase is warranted, such as rising property taxes, increased utility costs, or enhanced building amenities, can also help tenants understand and accept the change more easily. Professionalism extends to all forms of communication and interactions between landlords and tenants. Both parties should strive for mutual respect and understanding. Tenants should feel comfortable voicing concerns without fear of retaliation, and landlords should treat every valid tenant inquiry with courtesy and attentiveness. Providing regular updates on property matters, such as planned maintenance, upcoming inspections, or changes to building policies, contributes to a culture of transparency and trust. This open communication reassures tenants that their landlord is proactive and reliable. Landlords can also set expectations for tenants' conduct, such as adhering to noise regulations, keeping the property clean, and reporting issues promptly. Mutual accountability ensures a balanced and respectful relationship. By setting clear professional expectations, landlords can create an environment where both they and their tenants feel secure, respected, and valued. Effective communication, timely maintenance, and a proactive approach to potential issues foster a positive landlord-tenant relationship, ultimately leading to fewer disputes and longer-term tenancy agreements. Investing time and effort into managing expectations is not just beneficial, it's essential for creating a successful and sustainable rental business. A professional landlord with well-managed properties may still be faced with a tenant that is disrespectful and dissatisfied. How might a landlord handle such a situation? Situation 1. Melissa, a longtime tenant, is consistently rude and disrespectful. She calls the landlord, Sam, late at night for the most minor issues, often about things that have no bearing on her rental unit and nothing the landlord can do. For example, last Tuesday evening, Melissa called Sam at 11:30 p.m. complaining the apartment was too hot. Sam acknowledged it was a very hot and humid evening, which was to be expected in August, and suggested she turn on her air conditioning. Melissa rarely uses the air conditioning as it uses electricity, for which she pays. Sam explained this was not an emergency, and she was not to call him after business hours unless it was an emergency such as a fire, flood, etc. The following morning, Sam sent Melissa a professional letter advising this was the third time in less than a month that she had called him after business hours for a non-emergency. Calls such as this are inappropriate and will not be tolerated. Should she continue to make nuisance calls, Sam will take further action, including, but not limited to, legal action. Sam knew this might result in retaliation from Melissa, but he had been patient, had repeatedly set clear expectations regarding communication, and had previously given her a verbal warning. How would you have handled this situation? Do you think Sam handled the situation well? Situation 2. Manny, a tenant in another of Sam's units, works the night shift. Sam needed to complete the annual inspection, and mindful of Manny's schedule, Sam made outreach via email to see which weekday at 3 p.m. might be best for Manny. Sam was planning to schedule the HVAC maintenance person to join him to complete the annual maintenance for the equipment, and knew the company's hours were only until 5 p.m. It was a short window. Manny did not respond to either email or the voicemail Sam left that week. On the following week, Sam scheduled the inspection and maintenance for 3 p.m. on the Thursday, giving Manny 48 hours written notice by leaving a letter in his mailbox and sending a copy by email. Manny called Sam, furious that the inspection was scheduled so early and insisting it be after 5 p.m. so he could sleep, shower, and eat before they got to his home. Sam calmly explained why the work needed to be done during business hours, and he had booked it for as late as possible to ensure the HVAC person had sufficient time to complete the work. Sam offered to reschedule it to the Friday if that would be better for Manny. Manny refused, told Sam he was not to enter, and then hung up. Sam, knowing his right to enter with notice is appropriate, sent Manny a professional letter advising that they would be entering on the date and times provided in the previous communication. He further copied the relevant paragraphs from the legislation for his jurisdiction and pasted it into the letter. From your perspective, was this an appropriate response? What might you have done differently?